Lewis Hamilton's garage isn't just a collection, it's an automotive hall of fame. From track monsters to luxury beasts and rare exotics, his lineup is as wild as his F1 career. But not every car was a winner. Some became legends, while others, not so much. Let's take a deep dive into the insane cars of Lewis Hamilton. Let's start with one of the absolute beasts in Lewis Hamilton's garage, the Mercedes-AMG GT-R, also known as the Beast of the Green Hell. And trust me, that nickname isn't just for show. Hamilton, being the Mercedes-AMG Formula One legend that he is, owns this track-focused monster in a sleek white spec. And under that aggressive hood, a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 pushing out 585 horsepower. That means this thing rockets from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, or 62 miles an hour, in just 3.6 seconds. You blink and it's gone. But here's where it gets even crazier. This car absolutely dominated the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, clocking in at 7 minutes and 10.9 seconds. That makes it one of the fastest production cars to ever tear through that legendary circuit. And if you ever watched an F1 race between 2018 and 2020, you've probably seen a version of this car leading the grid as the official safety car. Now, because this is Lewis Hamilton we're talking about, his AMG GT-R wasn't just delivered. Oh no. It was dramatically flown via helicopter straight out of an action movie. And with a price tag of around $177,000, this car is both a performance weapon and a statement piece. But beyond all the numbers and theatrics, this car represents Hamilton's deep connection with Mercedes-AMG. It's a perfect blend of his F1 pedigree and road-going performance, proving that when Lewis isn't setting records on the track, he's still commanding serious power on the street. But while the AMG GT-R was an absolute thrill machine, not every car in Hamilton's garage lived up to his expectations. In case in point, the Mercedes-Maybach S600. Now, you'd think a Maybach, with all its ultra-luxurious features and smooth V12 power, would be a keeper. But for Lewis, not so much. He actually found it underwhelming, even going as far as saying it's not fit for a racer. Ouch. Needless to say, it didn't see much road time, and he eventually offloaded it at a UK auction for $142,000. A rare misstep in his collection. But hey, when you're used to cars that dominate racetracks, a cushy land yacht probably didn't feel all that exciting. But while the Maybach didn't make the cut, there is one car in Hamilton's collection that is a certified legend. The 1967 Shelby GT500. Now, this is a serious departure from his high-tech turbocharged machines. This is raw, old-school American muscle. Under the hood sits a massive 428 cubic inch V8, cranking out 355 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. That might not sound like much compared to his AMG GT-R, but back in the 60s, this was the king of the road. It could hit 60 miles an hour in 6.5 seconds and top out at 132 miles an hour. Seriously fast for its time. And with only 2,048 units ever built, this thing is a collector's dream. If it looks familiar, that's because the Shelby GT500 became an icon thanks to Gone in 60 Seconds, where a heavily customized version, nicknamed Eleanor, stole the show. And while Hamilton's version stays true to its original form, it adds a vintage edge to his supercar-heavy lineup. I mean, think about it. This guy races cutting-edge, multi-million-dollar F1 cars for a living, yet he still appreciates the brute force and timeless style of a classic Shelby. Now, that's how you know this car isn't just about speed. It's about soul. Now, while the Shelby GT500 brings that classic American muscle to Hamilton's garage, let's shift gears to something way more modern and controversial, considering his career. Enter the Ferrari LaFerrari. Yeah, you heard that right. Even though Hamilton has been the face of Mercedes-AMG and F1 for years, he still couldn't resist owning one of Ferrari's most legendary creations. And looking back now, maybe it was foreshadowing his shocking move to Ferrari in 2025. So, what makes this car so special? Well, for starters, it's Ferrari's first ever hybrid supercar, but don't let that fool you into thinking it's some eco-friendly commuter. This thing packs a 6.3-liter V12 engine paired with an electric motor pumping out a mind-boggling 949 horsepower. The result, a 0 to 60 mile an hour time of just under 2.5 seconds and a top speed of over 217. Absolute insanity. Only 500 coupes were ever built, making it one of the most exclusive Ferraris in existence. And of course, Hamilton owns one in red, because if you're gonna have a Ferrari, you might as well go all in. It is a bold choice, just like the man himself. Even before his Ferrari F1 deal, this car proved that Hamilton has always respected what Ferrari brings to the table. And now with him set to drive for the Prancing Horse in 2025, owning a LaFerrari just seems more fitting. Maybe he knew something we didn't all along. But Hamilton didn't just stop at one LaFerrari, because why settle for the coupe when you can also have the LaFerrari Aperta? This is the drop-top version of Ferrari's hybrid supercar. And if you thought the original was rare, the Aperta takes exclusivity to another level. Only 210 units were ever made, making it one of the hardest Ferraris to get your hands on. Performance-wise, it is just as ridiculous as the coupe, 949 horsepower from that 6.3-liter V12 hybrid setup, over 217 mile an hour top speed, and a 0 to 60 mile an hour time under 2 2.5 seconds. But here is the kicker. With the roof off, you get the full fury of that naturally aspirated V12 screaming behind you. And for a guy like Hamilton, who spent his entire career hearing high-revving race engines, that has to be part of the appeal. And if you think his Ferrari obsession stops there, well, think again. He also owns a Ferrari 599 SA Aperta, another ultra-rare convertible. Based on the 599 GTO, this was a limited-run model with only 80 ever made worldwide. While the exact production numbers aren't always highlighted, this car's rarity makes it another prized collector's item in Hamilton's garage. Now, here's what is wild. Hamilton has spent over a decade racing for Mercedes, yet his collection is packed with some of Ferrari's most sought-after machines. It just goes to show that at the end of the day, brand loyalty only goes so far when you're a car enthusiast, and with his move to Ferrari F1 in 2025, maybe these cars were his way of hinting at what was coming all along. But Hamilton's love for high-performance hybrids doesn't stop with Ferrari. He also owns one of the most iconic hybrid hypercars ever built, the McLaren P1. And this one, it is personal. McLaren was where it all started for Lewis. It was where he made his F1 debut, and it's where he won his first ever world championship in 2008. So owning the P1 isn't just about speed, it's a nod to his roots. Now, let's talk about numbers. Under the hood, the P1 packs a 3.8-liter twin-turbo V8, producing 727 horsepower. But that's just the beginning. Throw in the electric boost, and you're looking at a total output of 903 horsepower. Yeah, this thing moves. It also comes with McLaren's I-Pass hybrid system, which technically lets you drive in EV mode for about 6.2 miles. Not that anyone's buying a P1 for fuel economy, but beyond the power, the aerodynamics are what make the car truly special. Even years after launch, the P1 still looks like something out of the future. Low, aggressive, and built for serious speed. McLaren even made a P1 GTR version with an extra 83 horsepower, but it's unclear if Hamilton owns one of these as well. Either way, the P1 is more than just another hypercar in his garage. It is a tribute to a team that launched his career, and considering where Hamilton is now, it's pretty cool to see him still holding on to that piece of his past. And just when you think Hamilton's garage is all about sleek hypercars and track monsters, he throws in something completely different. The Mercedes G63 AMG 6x6. This thing is an absolute beast. Forget aerodynamics, forget the hybrid technology, this is all about power, size, and off-road dominance. Under the hood, it's packing a 5.5-liter twin-turbo V8, cranking out 536 horsepower and a ridiculous 785 Newton-meters of torque. And of course, all that power is sent to 6 wheels through a 7-speed G-tronic automatic gearbox. That is right, 6-wheel drive, because apparently 4 just isn't enough when you're Lewis Hamilton. This $500,000 monster is one of the rarest vehicles he owns, with fewer than 100 units worldwide. And here is the best part. Hamilton didn't get this as part of some Mercedes promo deal. He bought it just because he wanted to. That says a lot about his wildly diverse taste in cars. From hypercars that break lap records to this gigantic, go-anywhere off-road tank, Hamilton's collection proves he's not just about speed, he's about making a statement. But if you thought Hamilton's taste was all about modern speed and tech, well, think again. Sitting in his garage is a true legend, the 1966 Shelby Cobra 427. This isn't just a classic, it's one of the most raw and iconic sports cars ever built. Designed by the one and only Carroll Shelby, this car was all about brute force in a lightweight package. Under the hood sits a massive 427 cubic inch V8, pushing out 360 horsepower. Now that might not seem crazy compared to today's hypercars or anything else sitting in Lewis's garage, but remember, this thing only weighs 2,355 pounds. That power to weight ratio is insane. Performance, 0 to 60 in just 3.4 seconds and a top speed of 160 miles an hour, and this was back in the 1960s. With its 4-speed manual, leather seats, wood steering wheel, and that unmistakable big mouth grille, the Cobra 427 isn't just fast, it is a work of art. And here's the kicker, this car is worth an estimated $4 million, making it one of the most valuable in Hamilton's collection. It's proof that while he does love cutting-edge performance, he also has a deep appreciation for pure old-school muscle. And just when you think Lewis Hamilton's collection couldn't get any crazier, enter the Mercedes-AMG One, a car that's basically an F1 car with license plates. This is the pinnacle of his Mercedes-AMG partnership, and unlike some of his other cars, Hamilton actually had a hand in developing this beast, especially when it came to fine-tuning the internal combustion engine. So, what makes it so special? Well, under the hood, or well, I should say behind the driver's seat, you'll find a 1.6-liter turbocharged V6 hybrid engine, straight out of an F1 car paired with 4 electric motors. The result, a whopping 1,063 horsepower, yeah, over 1,000 horsepower from a tiny 1.6-liter engine. This thing rockets from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 2.9 seconds and has a top speed of 219. Oh, and it's packing an 800-volt lithium-ion battery with an F1 delivered hybrid system, making it one of the most advanced hypercars ever made. Only 275 units will ever exist, each with a price tag of around $2.4 million. But for Hamilton, this isn't just another expensive toy. This car is a full circle moment. It brings Formula One technology to the streets, and no one on the planet understands that better than him. But if there is one car in Hamilton's collection that is as controversial as it is stunning, it is the Pagani Zonda 760LH. This wasn't just any Zonda. This was a one-off, built specifically for him. Complete with a wild purple exterior, a 6-speed manual transmission, and a 7.3-liter Mercedes-AMG V12 producing 750 horsepower. A proper old-school supercar, right? Well, not exactly. Despite its jaw-dropping looks and exclusivity, Hamilton actually hated the way it drove. He called it his, quote, worst handling car, and after owning it for 7 years, he finally sold it for a staggering $10.8 million. And here's where the drama gets even crazier. This car has had one wild history. Back when Hamilton owned it, he was involved in a minor crash with it in Monaco. Don't worry, he walked away just fine, but after selling it, the next owner totaled it in a UK tunnel, turning this rare masterpiece into a wreck. Despite all that, the Zonda 760LH remains one of the most outrageous, unique, and talked about cars in his collection. It may not have been his favorite to drive, but you can't deny it is a true automotive legend. Charles Leclerc isn't just a Formula One sensation. He's a bona fide speed addict with a garage that could make any car enthusiast weak in the knees. We all know him as the Ferrari Golden Boy, the man who fearlessly pushes his SF24 to its absolute limits on the track. But when he's not battling for podiums, Leclerc is carving through Monaco streets in some of the most jaw-dropping cars money can buy. To start with, his garage is full of prancing horses. It's no surprise that a Scuderia Ferrari driver has a soft spot for Ferraris. But Leclerc doesn't just own Ferraris. He owns some of the most coveted ones ever made, one of which is the SF90 Stradale. If Ferrari's racing DNA could be distilled into a single road car, the SF90 Stradale is it. Packing a mind-eating 986 horsepower from its hybrid V8 powertrain, this beast rockets from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 2.5 seconds, faster than most F1 cars off the line. Leclerc's SF90 is a rolling statement, cutting-edge, blisteringly fast, and unmistakably Ferrari. When Charles wants a naturally aspirated V12 experience, he turns to his Ferrari 812 Superfast with 789 horsepower. This front-engine Grand Tour delivers an intoxicating mix of raw and refined Italian elegance. Plus, it's one of the last Ferraris without turbocharging or hybrid assistance. It's a true purist's dream. The 812 signs all the way past 8,500 RPM. It is a dying breed, a final farewell to unfiltered combustion power. And Charles knows it. The Ferrari F8 Tributo, which is a love letter to performance, is another one of this man's stable. The F8 Tributo, we all know, isn't just another mid-engine Ferrari. It is a tribute, quite literally in Italian tributo means tribute, to everything Ferrari has perfected over decades of motorsport. With a 710 horsepower twin-turbo V8, razor-sharp handling, and breathtaking looks, this is the kind of car that makes even a Formula One driver grin like a kid on Christmas morning. The F8 Tributo is a perfect blend of heritage and modernity, a fine tribute, as the name suggests, to Ferrari's mastery of the mid-engine V8. It's a car designed to thrill, and for a driver who knows every inch of what a Ferrari can do, it is nothing short of a plaything. But Leclerc isn't just a one-marked man. The man appreciates automotive greatness, no matter the badge. His collection, although undeniably Ferrari-heavy, makes room for other legends. There's a McLaren P1, a car, much like his SF90, fuses hybrid technology with absurd performance, delivering 903 horsepower and an otherworldly driving experience. The connection between driver and car is paramount here, and Leclerc understands that better than most. With 903 horsepower and an electric motor that delivers instant torque, the P1 is a masterpiece of speed and aerodynamics. It's the kind of car that makes even a Formula One driver feel giddy. And let's not forget his Bugatti Chiron, a hypercar that barely seems real, with its quad-turbocharged W16 and a top speed that could rip the tarmac off most roads. It's the kind of machine that doesn't just dominate highways, but rewrites what is possible. When Charles wants to experience 1,479 horsepower of unrelenting force, he turns to his Bugatti Chiron. Capable of hitting 261 miles an hour, the Chiron is less of a car and more of a physics-defying rocket. It's excess in the best way possible, because why not? Once a racer, always a racer. For Leclerc, driving isn't just about luxury and speed. It's about emotion, about precision, and that incredible thrill of being one with the machine. That's why he owns some of the most legendary race cars ever built. With a 950 horsepower hybrid V12, the LaFerrari is as close as you can get to driving an F1 car on the streets. Leclerc's LaFerrari is finished in Ferrari's signature Rosso Corsa, making it a rolling piece of history. LaFerrari isn't just an elite hybrid hypercar, it's a nod to Ferrari's relentless innovation and a machine built in the very spirit of Formula One. For those days when Charles wants to tear up the French Riviera's mountain roads, he turns to his Porsche 911 GT3 RS. With a naturally aspirated 4-liter flat 6, a lightning-fast PDK transmission, and one of the most aggressive aero packages ever fitted to a street car, this Porsche is built for one thing: pure driving bliss. The Porsche 911 GT3 RS is more than just a brutally efficient track weapon. It's a car that connects you to the rawest form of driving. A car that demands respect and rewards you for it, much like the machines he pilots on race weekends. But even an F1 driver needs a daily driver, something practical but still worthy of his racing pedigree. That's where the Ferrari Purosangue comes in handy. This is the SUV that thinks it's a supercar. Leclerc's Ferrari Purosangue is proof that an SUV doesn't have to be boring. With a 6.5-liter V12, it pumps out 715 horsepower, making it the most powerful Ferrari SUV ever. Whether he's cruising around Monaco or heading to the paddock, this is Charles's way of staying loyal to Ferrari, even when he needs 4 seats. It's the daily driver of a man who refuses to settle, a car that ensures even a trip to the grocery store is done at breakneck speed. Charles Leclerc has shown that he can have a life off the track. His personal life reflects who he is. Sure, he has an incredible car collection, but it's not all about that. His life off the track is quite a bit different to his life on the track. In a sport that never stops demanding more, he's found a way to carve out moments that feel personal. Away from all the intensity of Formula One, Leclerc is drawn to family. He is someone who values home, family, and the people who have a place in his life. Despite the fame, he's still the guy who grew up karting with his childhood friends, who cherishes time with his family, and who never forgets where he came from. There is a groundedness to him, a quiet appreciation for life outside the spotlight. Beyond the headline-grabbing hypercars and race-inspired machines, Charles Leclerc's garage holds a few more gems that reflect different sides of his personality. His love for heritage, engineering excellence, and even a touch of practicality. Well, at least by his standards. These 4 cars may not steal the spotlight like a LaFerrari or a Chiron, but each tells its own story about the man behind the wheel. First up, the Ferrari GTC4 Lusso, the grand tour that proves that even an F1 driver sometimes needs a blend of comfort and performance. With its 6.3-liter naturally aspirated V12, this shooting brake delivers 681 horsepower while offering the kind of practicality rare in a Ferrari. It's one of the few 4-seaters in his collection, meaning he can bring friends or family along for the ride, though knowing Leclerc, these rides are probably still blisteringly fast. The GTC4 Lusso is the perfect example of how Ferrari can blend luxury with unrelenting power, making it ideal for long highway stretches or winding coastal roads. Then there's the Maserati Gran Turismo MC Stradale, a car that adds some Italian flair to his garage, but with a slightly different flavor. Maserati's racing DNA is evident in the 4.7-liter V8, an engine derived from Ferrari, producing 444 horsepower with one of the most intoxicating exhaust notes ever engineered. Unlike some of the extreme supercars in his garage, this one is about elegance and old-school grand touring. A car designed as much for drama as for driving pleasure. It's a nod to classic Italian craftsmanship, a car that stands apart from his Ferraris while still speaking the same language of passion and performance. Leclerc also owns a Jaguar XF, a surprising but telling choice. While it might not be as loud or fast as his other rides, it shows a different side of him. It shows his appreciation for refinement. The XF, with its sleek British styling and smooth V6 or V8 engine options, is the kind of car you'd expect to see gliding through Monaco's streets. It's elegant without having to shout for attention. This car is just his way of blending in when he wants to step away from the chaos of Formula One. It's a car for those rare moments of quiet and a life built around speed. And finally, there's the Rolls-Royce Wraith, the ultimate statement of automotive opulence. The Wraith isn't just about lap times or horsepower figures, though it does pack a 624 horsepower twin-turbo V12. This car is about presence. It's a car that commands attention without effort, a rolling palace that offers a different kind of thrill. The thrill of absolute comfort. For a man whose life revolves around milliseconds and the in-between, the Wraith stands for something else entirely. It reps the ability to slow down, to glide rather than sprint, and to enjoy the ride in a way only Rolls-Royce can offer. Each of these cars adds a new layer to Leclerc's already breathtaking collection. Some are about performance, some about history, and some about balance. Together, they paint a fuller picture of a man whose love for driving goes far beyond the track. Max Verstappen isn't just a Formula One champion. He is a speed-obsessed superstar with a car collection worth a staggering $6.4 million. With a net worth of $210 million, he's built a garage packed with some of the rarest and most expensive machines on the planet. And honestly, that's no surprise. He started karting at just 4 years old, got his driving license at 17, and became the youngest race winner in F1 history. So when it comes to high-performance cars, Verstappen doesn't just drive them, he lives them. Let's take a look inside his insane collection. One of the wildest machines in his collection is the Renault RS01. Now, this isn't just some everyday supercar. This thing is a full-blown race car, built purely for the track. And on top of that, get this, it was never even available for public purchase. You couldn't just walk into a Renault dealership and grab one. But of course, when you're a 3-time Formula One world champion, you can get your hands on just about anything with wheels. Now let's talk power. Under the hood, or rather behind the driver, because this is a mid-engine beast, you've got a 3.8-liter twin-turbo V6 straight out of a Nissan GT-R. That means 550 horsepower, pushing a car that's basically all carbon fiber, making it insanely quick. We're talking a top speed of 186 miles an hour. And of course, since it's not street legal, this thing is made for one purpose only: pure, unfiltered speed. And you can't miss it. It's finished in Renault's signature yellow, giving it that proper race car look. Price tag? Around $400,000, but honestly, for something this rare, its real value is way beyond that. Most people could only dream of owning something like this. But for Verstappen, just another day at the office. When Max Verstappen is not dominating on the track, he still keeps things quick and stylish with one of the most refined Grand Tourers in his collection, the Aston Martin DB11. Now, this isn't just some flashy cruiser. It is the perfect blend of raw performance and pure luxury, making it an ideal choice for a world champion who appreciates both speed and sophistication. Under the hood, this beauty packs a 5.2-liter twin-turbo V12, delivering a potent 528 horsepower. This means that it can rocket from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 4 seconds, with a top speed of 187 miles an hour. While that might not quite match the speeds Verstappen is used to in F1, it's still more than enough to make any drive feel thrilling. Plus, unlike some of the track-only monsters in his garage, the DB11 is fully street legal, making it a perfect choice for when he wants to enjoy some high-speed refinement on the open road. But what really sets the DB11 apart is its luxury. Inside, it is a masterclass in premium design, featuring customizable ambient lighting, an advanced infotainment system, and a high-end audio setup that turns every drive into an experience. It's the kind of car that feels just as at home cruising through Monaco as it does storming down the Autobahn. And with a price tag of around $214,800, it's not exactly pocket change, but for Verstappen, it's just another perfectly tuned machine in an already jaw-dropping collection. Max Verstappen may be loyal to Red Bull on the track, but off it, he's got a serious appreciation for Ferrari's finest car. One of the most brutal and track-focused machines in his collection is the Ferrari 488 Pista, a car that takes everything great about the standard 488 and cranks it up to 11. This isn't just any Ferrari, it's packing the most powerful V8 Ferrari has ever built. A 3.9-liter twin-turbo V8 sits under the hood, pushing out a monstrous 710 horsepower. That translates to a blistering 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 2.7 seconds, with a top speed of 211 miles an hour. Numbers that wouldn't be out of place in an F1 race. But what really makes the 488 Pista special is how it feels. This thing is built for pure performance, and every inch of it is designed to go fast. Compared to the standard 488 GTB, the Pista is 90 kilograms lighter, thanks to aggressive weight reduction, carbon fiber everywhere, and a no-nonsense approach to speed. And speaking of aggressive, just look at it. The F1-inspired front design and redesigned diffusers make it look like it's about to devour the road. And of course, Verstappen's Pista comes in classic Ferrari red, because if you're gonna have a Ferrari, why not go all in? At $543,000, it's not just an expensive toy. It is a statement. It's a car built for the best drivers in the world. And Verstappen, well, he just happens to be one of them. Max Verstappen has driven some of the most extreme performance machines on the planet. But not every car in his collection is an ultra-rare hypercar. Take his 2017 Mercedes-Benz C63 as an example. This might seem like a more normal choice compared to the multi-million-dollar exotics in his garage, but don't be fooled. This thing is still an absolute beast. Under the hood, it's packing a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, cranking out 504 horsepower and launching from 0 to 60 miles an hour in under 4 seconds. With a top speed of 180 miles an hour, it's got more than enough muscle to remind you that it is an AMG. The C63S has always been a bit of a sleeper, a luxury sedan that can turn into a tire-shredding monster at the press of a pedal. It's the kind of car that blends everyday usability with some serious power, making it a perfect daily driver, for most people, at least. But Verstappen, he didn't hold on to it for long. The car was briefly in his collection before being auctioned off, likely because when you're used to piloting an F1 car at over 200 miles an hour, even a fire-breathing AMG might start to feel a little tame. Still, for a Mercedes with F1 heritage running through its veins, it's no surprise it caught the attention of a world champion, even if only for a little while. Now, Verstappen's love for high-performance machines did not stop with Formula One. In fact, after securing his first ever F1 victory at the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix, he decided to celebrate in the best way possible by picking up a Porsche 911 GT3 RS. And honestly, what a choice. This isn't just any 911. The GT3 RS is built for precision, speed, and pure driver engagement. Sitting at its heart is a 4-liter flat 6, naturally aspirated and screaming to 9,000 RPM, pushing out 493 horsepower. That might not sound like much compared to the 1,000 plus horsepower he's used to in F1, but with a 0 to 60 mile an hour time of just 3 seconds and a top speed of 193 miles an hour, this thing is a track weapon. It's got rear-wheel drive, razor-sharp handling, and a chassis that makes you feel every inch of the road. Exactly the kind of car a driver like Verstappen would appreciate. And of course, he spec'd it right. His silver GT3 RS sits on black wheels with yellow brake calipers, a subtle but aggressive look that screams performance. With a price tag of around $400,000, it is not cheap. But for Verstappen, it wasn't just about the money. This car represents a milestone. The moment he proved to the world he wasn't just another young talent, but a future world champion. Winning back-to-back F1 championships is no small feat, and Honda made sure to reward Max Verstappen in style with a limited edition Honda NSX Type S. And this wasn't just any NSX. With only 350 units made worldwide, this car is as exclusive as it is impressive. Under the hood, the NSX Type S packs a twin-turbocharged V6 engine paired with 3 electric motors, delivering a total of 600 horsepower. Thanks to its innovative torque-vectoring all-wheel drive, it is not just fast in a straight line. It carves corners with surgical precision. It's a fast blend of cutting-edge technology and raw performance, which makes sense coming from Honda, a brand that powered Verstappen to championship glory. With a price tag of $171,400, it's not the most expensive car in his collection, but it's definitely one of the most meaningful. More than just a supercar, this NSX represents a reward for dominance, a token of Honda's appreciation, and a symbol of Verstappen's reign at the top of F1. And considering his deep connection with Honda throughout his career, it's safe to say this car holds a special place in his garage. At this point, you know Verstappen's garage is filled with some of the most expensive and extreme performance machines on the planet. But the Ferrari Monza SP2 might just be one of the most breathtaking. This isn't just a car. It is a rolling piece of automotive art, blending classic Ferrari speedster aesthetics with cutting-edge performance. And with only 499 units ever made, it's about as exclusive as it gets. Under the hood, the Monza SP2 is an absolute monster. It packs a 6.3-liter naturally aspirated V12, pushing out 810 horsepower. One of the most powerful non-hybrid engines Ferrari has ever built. That means that it can rocket from 0 to 62 miles an hour in just 2.9 seconds, with a top speed of 180 miles an hour. But what really sets this Ferrari apart is its design philosophy. There's no roof, no windscreen, it's just you, the open road, and the full array of that V12 screaming behind you. It's an experience that feels more like driving an F1 car in its purest form, raw, visceral, and completely unfiltered. At $1.8 million, the Monza SP2 isn't just a car, it is a statement. It's Ferrari at its most bold and uncompromising. And for a driver like Max Verstappen, who lives for speed and adrenaline, it is a perfect fit. Whether he's pushing it to the limit or simply admiring it in his collection, there's no doubt that the Monza SP2 is one of the most special Ferraris he owns. Now, if there is one car in Max Verstappen's collection that comes closest to an actual Formula One car for the road, it is the Aston Martin Valkyrie. This isn't just a hypercar, it is a full-blown engineering masterpiece, designed with input from F1 legend Adrian Newey to be as close to a track machine as possible while still having a license plate. And of course, with only 175 units ever built, it's one of the rarest and most extreme cars in the world. At the heart of the Valkyrie is a 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 developed by Cosworth that screams all the way to 11,000 RPM. Combined with an electric motor, it cranks out a mind-blowing 1,160 horsepower, launching this beast from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 2.5 seconds, with a top speed of 250 miles an hour. But the numbers only tell half the story. What really makes the Valkyrie special is its Formula One-inspired aerodynamics, carbon fiber body, and cockpit straight out of a race car. The racing-style controls and digital display make you feel like you're strapping into an F1 machine every time you take the wheel. With a $3.5 million price tag, this is one of the most expensive cars Verstappen owns. But considering his ties with Red Bull and Aston Martin, it's no surprise he has one. Whether he's pushing it to the limit or just admiring it in his garage, the Valkyrie is the ultimate fusion of F1 technology and road car industry. A perfect match for a driver who loves life at full throttle. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this.